Hi, 6th grade. Today we are going to be doing another unit for our narrative writing section. We are going to be working on our plot diagram. I've been talking about this all week, and finally we are getting to it. This is page 70 in your packet, in the narrative writing packet. You will also need a glue, a pencil, a red colored pencil, some scissors, and your journal. Please use a red colored pencil today. I'd really like you to use the same color as me for our plot diagram. If you need any of these material, go ahead and pause, grab those, and come back. So for now, let's move our scissors and glue aside, since those are the last things we are going to be using today. And we are going to open up to our narrative writing scales page. Our narrative writing scales page. So if you are sensing the pattern that every day we are going to work on our scales, you would be correct. So today we are going to write yesterday's date. That's when we learned the narrative, ways to start a narrative. So 12-2-20, you can write the date any way that you choose, as long as it's the date from yesterday, not today. So ways to start a narrative is what we worked on yesterday. This whole page, 4 ways that we can use, 2 ways that we should not use this time. So please go to your learning goals side, which is this next page on the left, and give yourself a score based on if I assigned the essay to you today, the narrative writing unit essay today. What score would you get? Now, we haven't even learned the topic of our narrative writing essay yet, so I would still assume that most of us would be somewhere in the 0 or 1 category because we don't know the topic yet. Today we will learn the topic, and then I'm hoping that our scales might jump up a little higher on Tuesday. However, on the first and second, I'm expecting scores to be between a 0 and a 1, maybe a 2 if you are very, very confident. So if you need to write down your scale, go ahead and pause. If not, we're going to close our journals for the time being and move on to our plot diagram. So again, this is page 70. This is page 70. Now, as you can see, I have written in some things with my red colored pencil already. This would be a great opportunity to pause and write those in. Yes, you can write below the page. We will have enough room to still glue it in as long as you write fairly close to the black outline. So go ahead and pause and write all of those things in. These look very similar to Mrs. Letter's class in her elements of the plot diagram and her literary elements. These look very similar. So you've probably already done this before, so please pause and write those in red colored pencil. Exposition is the first paragraph, rising action is the second, climax all the way up here is the third paragraph, falling action is the fourth, and resolution is the fifth. Once you have all of those written in, we'll come up to the title and the author. So all of our titles will be exactly the same. We are using the same plot diagram. Everyone is going to use the same plot diagram. However, all of our stories will be different, using different narrative transitions, using different vivid verbs, different describers, except all of our essays will have the same title and plot. So our essay title is, this is with just normal pencil, not colored pencil, The Water Boy. Now, if you've looked at the homework page, you've probably seen this and gone, I don't know what that is. Well, we are going over it today. And the author is you, is your name. So go ahead and write your name first and last, because you are a proper author. First and last name next to author. If you need to pause at this point, go ahead and do so, because we are going to move on. So in our exposition, we have 4 things that are going to happen. So we have our point of view to choose, our enticing incident, the first thing that happens that starts the story. Our setting is where and when the story is happening, and our main characters. Now in this section, please write small because we do have quite a few things to write in. All of our plot diagrams should look exactly the same, so please make your plot diagram look just like mine. Point of view, we are going to write in third person. This means that the characters are not ourselves. We are not using the word I. We are talking about the characters in the story. We are not talking about the story from our perspective. So the enticing incident of our of our narrative. So it's the final playoff for the championship, and the star quarterback is out because of his failing grades. So the final football playoff but the star quarterback is out for failing grades. It's the final football playoff, but the star quarterback is out for failing grades. So the final football playoff is a big deal. It's the last game. They could either win the season or lose the season. And the quarterback, who usually has done really well, is out for failing grades. So with our title being the water boy is the one who kind of walks around with the water bottle and helps out the team. So if our title is the water boy, can you guess at this point what's going to happen? So our setting is the middle school football field. So we can all relate if you play football or want to play football. If you don't want to play football, that's okay. Go ahead and just put yourself in the shoes of someone that does. Middle school football field, and it's present day. Present day just means something that could happen right now. We're not going all the way back to the 1950s or something, and we're not going futuristic all the way to 2050. So our main characters, we have 4 main characters, so make sure you're writing small. We have Malcolm, who is the water boy. We have Josh, the backup quarterback. You can just write QB for quarterback. The backup quarterback. We have the coach. If you want to give him a last name, you can give him a last name. I'm just going to say coach. And then we have Emily, who is a cheerleader. And also Malcolm's crush. So we have 4 main characters. Malcolm the water boy, Josh the backup quarterback, not the star, but the backup, coach, and Emily, who is a cheerleader, and also Malcolm's crush. So if you need to pause, now would be a great time, and then meet me back to talk about rising action. So the rising action, the first event, so we are going to write some numbers along this side. So we're going to start with 1 down here and go up to 4. So these go in order 1 to 4. So the first event that happens is the football teams are neck and neck. That means the score is tied or they're really close. The football teams are neck and neck. The game is so close. Event number 2. 30 seconds left on the clock. The game is tied, and it's 4th and goal. So if you're not sure what that means, the game is tied and it's 4th and goal. It's the last run of the game, and they either have to score or they're going to lose. So we have event 1, event 2. Our next event that's leading us closer to the climax is Josh, the backup quarterback, sprains his ankle and is unable to play. So Josh, and then we have in a positive, we need a comma. The backup, you can write QB, sprains his ankle and is unable to play. And event number 4, the coach has no choice but to put in Malcolm for a real game, or for the first time. The coach, if you want to give coach a last name, you can, has no choice but to put in Malcolm for the first time. So Malcolm gets to play. Malcolm gets to play. Now, will he be any good? Because he's typically just the water boy. We will see. So we're going all the way over here to our climax. Our climax is going to be that Malcolm is great. Malcolm shocks everyone with his throwing arm as he throws a pass right into the hands of the other team. So he has a great arm, but he's never played, so he throws the pass to the wrong team. So we'll say Malcolm shocks everyone with an impressive throw, but right into the hands of the other team. So Malcolm shocks everyone with an impressive throw, but right into the hands of the other team. So Malcolm does show that he can be a quarterback. However, he doesn't really have the aim and doesn't really know how to play as much because he hasn't been allowed to before. He's just been the water boy. So we have 2 actions in our falling action. So the first one is the opponent catches the ball and runs it back to score the winning touchdown. The opponent catches the ball and scores the winning touchdown. In our second event, the opponent catches the ball and scores the winning touchdown. Our second event is Malcolm is dejected and never plays football again. Kind of sad, but he might come back from it. He might find out that football is not his thing and he wants to do something else, and that's awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not our second event. That's a resolution. I apologize. We don't need that number 1 or 2 there. This is our falling action, and then our resolution. Our resolution is Malcolm is dejected. And never plays football again. Now, in your narrative, you are more than welcome to write an ending where, yes, he does have to throw the ball to the other team and he can be dejected and upset. However, you can say that he finds a love of painting or a love of soccer or a love of something else at the end if you would like. So our conflict here is going to be man versus society. Versus society. Versus embarrassment, really, man versus society. So the conflict is that Malcolm has always been the water boy because of his small size and perceived lack of skill. So I'm writing perceived lack of skill because we do find out that he has a throwing arm and can throw. However, he has a perceived lack of skill. They don't think he can do it. They don't think he can. So the last thing we are going to do is take our scissors and cut out our plot diagram. Make sure you don't cut off where it says first paragraph, just cut around it. And now this is going to be too big to put on our page going the long way. So we are going to put it on going sideways. So you'll have to turn your book to read it properly, but that's okay. Not a big deal. So we will open to page 31. So we have page 30, which is our ways to start a narrative. We are not going to glue on the back side of ways to start a narrative. We are going to glue our plot diagram on page 31 and not over here. So take out your glue. Four dots of glue will be just fine. And glue in your plot diagram. Plot diagram, and you can write at the bottom 31. 31. If you flip back to your table of contents, mine's on the other side. We write water boy, plot diagram. Water boy plot diagram. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, 6th grade.